Hello everybody, my name is Alckemy, welcome to the channel. It seems like, just last week or 2 weeks ago, I put out a preset pack, which is probably the best thing that I've ever released, called Requiem 2 for Faceplant, but I've also been hard at work working on a preset bank for Minimal Audio's Current, which is available now on the website. There is a link in the description, and it's pretty cheap. I decided to put it out for 15 bucks. It's 30 presets-ish, give or take, and most of them have macros. There's a couple that don't, but it's really kind of just a contribution to the Minimal Audio Current release. And I kind of just wanted to see, really engage to see if there's any kind of interest for this particular synth out there. So I'm going to be walking you through all of the patches, not going to be making any music because I want to try to keep this relatively efficient and not talk too much. There is a lot less to get through than the Requiem 2 pack, just because this is a little bit more straightforward as far as what the presets have to offer. That being said, what I like about Current is that in terms of like raw sound and raw power, and then also the high quality effects on here, it just sounds really good. You know, it's just like one of those synths that's just like you hear it and you're like, man, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. So I've got a combination of all different kinds of sounds. They're all flavors of me with regards to bells, neurobass, of course, a couple of drums, clap, some other stuff like that. And yeah, it's really interesting and I like looking at it. I like the color scheme. It's a nice, refreshing differentiation from Faceplant, which you guys know that I love Faceplant. But yeah, I kind of just want to diversify my skill set and try to make some content that, you know, is not just for a single synthesizer. So with that being said, let's go ahead and just kind of hop through some of these. I'm going to play some sounds, try not to say a whole lot. If anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those for you. And yeah, enjoy the presentation. So Abyss Bell is some nice, cool little bells that we got here. You might want to adjust the volume on some of these, just depending on what it is that you're going for. It's really nice though. Yo, Steve, what's up? You might also notice that I've made most of these on stream, so if you're curious as to how they were made, then yeah, I made most of these while I was online like I am now. Yeah. We got some tail, got some space, got some gurgly. Just a nice kind of metallic type of sound. All right, so this one is really cool actually. I was editing it earlier today before I decided to put this up, but this is that classic sound. You'll immediately notice it once I play the right key, but we figured out, I thought it was G sharp, but it's actually C sharp. So check this out. Sorry, wrong one. There it is. So the other day we were actually doing this, I was making some kind of halftime beat or whatever, and I was like, man, what is that classic triangle sound or square sound that you always hear in like dub music and stuff, and depending on what BPM you are is what this is going to resonate at. But I thought that was pretty funny, and I decided to try to recreate this with Avin and some of the other viewers. Shout out to Philippe, he helped me just actually get the sound. I don't remember what synthesizer this is notorious for, but I just wanted to recreate it, and then I decided to try to add some of my own flavors to it. So we have some distortion and particular filter shapes. We've got some crazy distortion, some lo-fi. This one I took inspiration from just copying the phone preset. Well, I didn't just copy, but one thing that I did was added the phone preset kind of setup if you ever have Pro Q3, and added some other things that kind of make it a little bit more gritty with the distortion and stuff. But this will also kind of change it into a laser, so that way you'll get a bunch of different sounds. And sometimes it's kind of nice to be able to like, and you can get a bunch of different like sounds out of that, which I don't know, I just thought that was a cool cheeky thing. This is where things are going to get loud. So we got some basses here, and they sound really good. So this one's kind of strange because depending on what note you play, you're going to get some noise. So, but if I play a D sharp, but I kind of like it that way because whatever, regardless of whatever it is that you play, you know, it's going to kind of like sound like it's different and a little bit more alive. This will kind of leave it as a sub. But yeah, that's a really nice, like heavy, gritty bass. This is a clap maker. We've got a couple of layers of Foley on here. It's one of the more recent ones, but what we did was I actually had to troubleshoot quite a few things here. I had to create some wavetables that were noise because there's no wavetable maker inside of Current, and then I also needed more layers, so I used the sub thing here and then used the granular thing. But yeah, basically we've got a short sound. We can turn the Foley off here as well as the space. So you can hear that there's a lot of different versions of this. And then we can add in our Foley, kind of just watery stuff, some splashy splash. And then if you have Foley or something, you're more than welcome to replace this and change out the sampler and stuff too, or change the different pieces of this. But I did want to showcase being able to make drums within this because, well, for one, you can, and two, because the fuse compressor is on here as well as the riff distortion, like you could just crush stuff and make it super loud. I feel like this is pretty tame, but with a little bit more crunchiness, you can definitely bring out some more of the high end, but I thought that this was a good starting point to shape some nice like percussive sounds. This is a classic growler, so I'll just play that. Obviously we have Morphe Q on here doing some crazy stuff, but let's pop back into the engine here. Like, you see how loud this gets? Yeah, pretty awesome. This is a classic monster, so we have a classic low pass filter here. We also have a wave changer. We have a couple of other things here that will either add some more delay or will add in some other characterizations, for example, tear and rip, not to be cheeky or anything, but this will add in some kind of cool delay effects or some flanging sounds. So or this one. Just crazy amounts of distortion and just super powerful sounds. It's really awesome. This is a deep wub. This was a request that I had for kind of a more reserved type bass. So it's still nice. It's not quite as aggressive, but with this we have different kinds of yomps and stuff for, you know, different kinds of dub music or whatever. This will kind of add some harmonics. This will also add some harmonics. So and then we got some nice verb in case if you wanted to do something like that, but that was just a request that somebody had, and you know, it's nice. You can always make it louder. Actually, that is pretty loud. It's just not nearly as harmonically rich as the other basses on here. This is included. This is just in case if I wanted to set some stuff up. Actually, that's not even supposed to be in there, but whatever. This one's really cool. It's very reminiscent of Disprove. So and then we can create an impact with this. So just heavy sounds, man. Yeah, really cool. This one is a dream arp. We have different stuff here that we can utilize to create a sequence. I think that the arpeggiator is on this one, and then we can introduce the oscillator B. So and for whatever reason, if you want to turn the arp off or turn the chord on, then you can do that too. But it just sounds really nice. And unfortunately, we only have 4 macros, but of course, like, you can always dive into this and start changing the different parameters on here, such as the wave of the pluck. Even though it's key tracked, you might want to change it into a different filter. You might want to change the stuff here with the pitch, spectral, and position. For example, one thing that you could do would be like to add in like a sync on here, wherever that is. There we go. So it might be good to like and that's just one small change that you can make to kind of customize this. And I'm really hoping that people don't just like turn the macros and then be like, oh, okay, we're done with it. There's so much stuff that you can do within these knobs here, and I really encourage you to just like open up a patch and then just start messing with it and change certain things about it. And then if you find something that's cool, then, you know, save it as an amalgamation, like Dungeon Beast 2 or something, you know. So with this, this one is pretty aggressive as well. Just a cool like dubstep bass that I thought was really cool. I really like adding kind of like the delay, staticky, metallic sounds on top of it. That is going to be kind of, you'll see that a lot from one, using the glass chorus within this, and then two, trying to abuse a lot of the delays that we have here. Because you can use so many delays, it's really cool that you can kind of stack them and then distort and then stack and distort and whatnot, as you'll see on some of this stuff. And yeah, I mean, if you're a sound designer for dubstep or rhythm or something, then this should be money for you. So this will kind of morph between something that's consistent and then something that is kind of randomized and whatnot. And then of course, morphing the sounds, you'll see that these will kind of slightly change over time without changing the timbre too much. Easy Reese is kind of a goopy Reese. I usually don't make squelchy neuro basses like this, but I just kind of was tweaking some parameters to add and figure out what to do with the macros, and we ended up getting something that's kind of squelchy and strange, but it's kind of just like, yeah, kind of goopy. What's cool about this though is that if you don't just play this as bass, you can actually get some cool keys out of this too. So a wide variety of sounds out of this. Really love the flanging stuff. That's like my thing. Yeah, it is just like a nasally, like saw wave Reese. We can make it ugly if we want to. You'll also notice that I've added a laser when it gets ugly. You can achieve that by opening up the sub oscillator and using 100% knock at 100% decay, and that will kind of give it that pew pew, which I thought is kind of cool and cheeky. This is a kick, and the most of the drums on here, other than the clap, don't have a lot of like stuff that's different, or sorry, a lot of macros to change. I think that just using, you know, whatever wavetable you have or whatever, and changing the position or coming in and changing the envelope and stuff should kind of like supplement that. But we get some really nice kicks in this. So anywhere from subtle to super fat. This is growly. Another kind of dubstep bass. With this picture here, we can either make it go up or down. You want to kind of keep it at the middle though, because it's a bipolar macro. So and then we got a little sub there. But yeah, some really high-end aggressive sounds. Hear Me Roar, this is another bass that gets pretty crazy. That's crazy. This is kind of like a low pass here that kind of just rumbles, but the reason why I like it is because if you listen to the crunch on top, then it gives you kind of like that subtlety that is just kind of like something that's breaking apart, but you still have really clean bass. And then we've got some stuff to make it super wide, so this is really good for like reverb throws or for fills and stuff. But this is the second kick that we have. It's a little bit different, but it's kind of more unidimensional. But that's just like, I use this kind of kick in almost like every single song that I make. Just a nice doof. Here we got a third kick that has a little bit more distortion. Just a lot of practice and stuff of like trying to figure out how these are made. And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, so I think the reason why I wanted to include these, aside from them being different kicks, was that I've kind of got these different setups in which to kind of like paper trail them. And so if you're wanting to know about how to make drums with kicks and snares specifically, the snares are going to be really good. Then you can kind of follow along with that. Somebody asked me if I can make physical modeling, so I made a physical modeler. It's not, you know, super crazy or anything, but it's a basic way to kind of figure out how to get like cool metallic resonances that sound realistic. See, it's kind of tinny. That's a cool sound. Pork loin. So what this is designed for is to try to give you a bunch of different percussion and kicks and snare type stuff. You'll see that this says kick P snare, or kick versus perk snare. We got some decay, we got different rhythms, and then we got some air on here. But this is something that I use a lot to try to get percussion to just like sample from and then start amalgamating into drums. So and you'll see here now that this will have different rhythms on it, depending on the way that this will jump, I think, with the delay. So in case if you're trying to get like different weird timings of stuff. This is air, so this will kind of give it a little bit more high end. So, you know, if you want percussion and stuff, that's a cool way to do it. And then, of course, if you want to turn off the reverb to make it a little bit more dry, then that's something that you can do as well. Like I said, unfortunately, we only have 4 macros. So, you know, there's at some point like a cap as to like how many different ways I can customize this in front of you. Because really, like, the macros are kind of superficial because in theory, you could go and tweak anything, but I guess these are like 4 main things that you can use in order to like be like, oh, this is what's most likely going to change the sound the most without destroying it, or without like having like, or without like messing it up or something. Or, you know, I guess there is no messing up sound or whatever, but it's one thing that you can do. Quacker Oats, this is I think another dubstep thing. There's kind of a lot of dubstep basses in this, but I think that's just because I've done so much like neuro bass stuff in the past that I'm like, let's just do something different. So yeah, I guess you can kind of categorize this as kind of like a drum and bass type roller thing too, but if you want to add sub, you can do that, and then you can just like get some really cool like harmonic screeching, and then this works in tandem with this one. So yeah, just a cool sound. Do 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 do. And then if you want to put like a master filter over this or something, like you could probably even replace one of these. Actually, this is doing quite a bit, but yeah, you can kind of just maybe even do like a ducker or something and set the bands to 2, just a low and a high, and then just duck the high end or something to kind of create more of a donk. But there's a lot of different things that you could do to this now that I think about it. If you change the wavetable and you have like a 5 semitone pitch thing that like dips very quickly, or you FM this by turning this up 5 semitones, give it a little bit of decay. Yeah, there's a lot. It's unfortunate. I really want to utilize a lot of the modulators and stuff to like make these patches super dense, but again, it's a different synth and I need to treat it as such. So this is a resonant wub. This sounds pretty cool. That's wild. And then with this one, with this destroy thing, it's like even if you just turn it on barely, like it'll crunch really hard. So I think that I ended up turning this down quite a bit, but if you just kind of bring this back up, this thing will get loud. So yeah, that's a pretty cool bass. The screamer is a lead, so we want to kind of probably play a higher octave. You can play a lower octave if you want to. Okay, I just needed to make sure that I could play that melody. We're tired of but this one's pretty cool. I don't know why, it just reminds me of like a big room Super Mario World theme. Then we also have a timbre shift. So that's not that big of a difference. It looks different, but it doesn't actually sound a whole lot different. But just kind of gives it a little bit more bite. And then if you want to kind of like make this a little bit wider or like make it a little bit more fucked up, then you can pull off of the unison here. So now we've got a Shrieky Deaky. This one gets really loud, so be careful with it. But just super metallic sounds. So yeah, that one's pretty cool. You can get just like some really cool, like harsh. Yeah, lots of cool things in here. And then of course you can change the position and stuff to get some cool variations of this. So this one I think is mostly catered towards beginners, although it's still a great sound. This kind of teaches people how to get some vocal sounds out of Reese basses. It's very simple, but you can hear the whoa and all that. So think of this more as like a tutorial patch, but even still, I use this kind of bass like all the time on just regular shit, just to have something go whoa or something like that. You could always add more distortion and stuff if you wanted to, or, you know, even use a fuse compressor and whatnot. But I think that with just a very basic filter setup, which to me, this is looking like it's almost even creating like a phaser slash flanger because of the peaks and resonances and stuff in the low mid region. So from 2 to 1K, we're getting some nice movement here that you can set up as not even an LFO if you wanted to. You can set it up as random or something like that and start playing with distortion and stacking and whatnot. This is a really good complement to a comprehensive guide to Neurobass 3 because I talk about how to start something like this and start adding to it. So I think that here's just like a cool little head start or whatever. Smooth Alchemy, this is a pad. Welcome to PlayStation 2. In a world full of tacos. As you can hear, just really nice lush sounds. Can adjust the delay. Obviously, we can change it into a pluck. I think that if this had like an arpeggiator on it or something, it would be really cool. So we can kind of turn that on. Almost kind of like a trance gate. Pretty cool. We also have this eerie thing that will kind of drift the pitch. Let's go ahead and pull off the plug. kind of gives it more of that Silent Hill vibe. This is the snare I was talking about. This sounds really good. That's just awesome. It's not like a whole lot of controls to this or whatever. It was a lot of fine tuning in the first place to even get it here. So it's kind of just like again a unidimensional type of sound, but like you can get some great snares out of this. There should be a snare too. This is going to sound really thick. So again, what do we do? I think, yeah, wow. I guess we just used a touch of white noise and a sub oscillator, and then everything else was just effect processing. As you can see, lots and lots of distortion and compression, but sounds pretty good. You can get some nice smackies out of that, and then if you want to, you can always adjust the envelope to get whatever kind of variations of this as you want. Space Ghost, we recorded some guitar, and kind of I wanted to create something that's kind of like a sequence, so this is pretty nice. Let's go ahead and turn the ambience up. I'll turn this up a little bit too. This is the reverse layer. And I'm not really sure what this one was supposed to be honest. This might be an empty, but it sounds really good. It's just like pretty, you know. Hey Tony, what's up? And as you can tell, over time it evolves. Actually, I think that this mod macro is on the granular tab. But I mean, man, that's nice. Yeah, here we go. So this will spray out if you wanted to, or we can kind of keep it here. I don't know. I just think it sounds awesome. This one, Woo Woo, is pretty funny. It's kind of like a defunk, Daft Punk kind of thing. I don't actually know the melody, but if we turn this up all the way, you'll see that this will morph the vowel thing, and then we also added some vibrato to it. So that actually would probably be a pretty sick like riff for like drum and bass. We can pull off of the sub on this and then also add in some delay. Yeah, really nice. And then we can also kind of make it a little bit more staccato. And I think that will probably sound better with the delay, so maybe back off with the morph. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I really like the cluster delay on current, if you couldn't tell. I will have a review on cluster delay at some point, but I definitely use it quite a bit. It's got like multiple other effects built into it. Sounds really nice. But yeah, is this the last one? No, I believe that this is our last one here. Oh, we also have Spitta. But for this is another bass, and if it tears quite a bit. So I'm going to start this from a low pass and slowly introduce this to you, but yeah, it gets loud. See, it's already super resonant, so. And I ended up turning this down because if you were to like turn this to its original gain, it will be so fucking loud that you got to be really careful. But yeah, see. That's a crazy ass bass. But again, you know, it starts down here just in case. Obviously, it's got some insane highs, and so you do want to be careful of just not turning that up all the way. It's actually more resonant over here in the low mids than anything, but there's a lot of compression on here, as you'll see. Lots of stuff to try to just control this, but still sounds really cool, especially as like a lead or something. Super resonant, but yeah. So the last thing that we have is Spitta. And this thing is just a crazy ass bass, I believe. And what's really cool about this one is it's really meant to just like be something that is not really meant to be like a bass line or anything. But what is cool about it is that it will give you just like a, you know, and what's it called? I think that this was one of the first patches that I designed, but it is kind of sick that you can just get like just a ton of energy from it. Sound effects for builds or intros. Right. And if you wanted to, you know, there's a couple of other things that you can add to this, but you'll see that like for the most part, I think a lot of this stuff, is it randomized? Nah, so you can just adjust the curve. I think that's why I left it as is, but you can just pop into this and change some of the stuff about this. So yeah. I think I was just trying to see if I can just get like some crazy ass sounds out of this when I first started doing this, but yeah, I mean, you can adjust some of these other things too. And then if you want to introduce like some of the original character, then you can. We can kind of, yeah, like that. Some of that stuff is really cool for just different kinds of sounds that you can modify and whatnot. But this shit is loud as fuck. Let's turn this back up. Like, that's pretty awesome. So, I mean, yeah, this is, like I said, more so of an effect than a bass, but it is kind of cool just like how rumbly and insanely loud this is. And I think that most of this more so lies within the curves than me trying to set up a bunch of other stuff, because I think that I just like the sound so much. But Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So there's about 30 patches, I want to say. Let me see here. Open this up. User presets. There should be... Let me see what we got here. Yeah, so aside from the default thing in here, which I don't know why that's in there, but it is, we have the picture and the JPEG. We've got pretty much 30 presets of a bunch of different stuff that you can kind of hop into. But yeah, I mean, if anything, like I said, this is meant to be a smaller pack. It's not really meant to be like, you know, the next big thing for me. It's available at alckemy.com for 15 bucks. So if you like any of the sounds that are in here, or you're curious to reverse engineer anything, or you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. But I think that like Current is a relatively new synth. I don't really know if it's going to gain traction or not, but I just wanted to have something out for it and showcase some of the cool sounds that it can make, and you know, just have something up from me. But yeah, if it does well, or if people are interested in it, then I'll do more. And if it doesn't do well, like, that's okay too. I'm just kind of curious as to where the market's at on these kinds of things. I think that the next pack that I'm going to be doing is for Bitwig. So I'll probably get in and do some Bitwig exclusive stuff starting likely tomorrow. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of just want to diversify and put in more of my sounds in different kinds of synthesizers and stuff. I think that they have a trial, right? Before you even do rent to own. I would say like demo everything. Demo everything. I think that's what's really important, is to just try to be like, yo, is this something that I could use personally, or something that I could use musically, or have a good time and spend an afternoon? And because some people don't even do music, they just like fucking with sounds, and that's totally fine. But yeah, for me, I really enjoyed putting some time into Current and like really dedicating myself to learning what it could do. I don't necessarily feel like you get all the sounds and effects with full access package. Yeah. So you get access to all of the expansions and stuff. I think that I might have used one sound in here that could have been from the factory content, but I don't remember. It was like noise or something if I did. I think that 99.999% of all this stuff was my own sounds, own samples, all that. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much maximum voltage. I wanted to call it maximum voltage because current kind of reminds me of like, you know, an electrical current or something. I also thought about doing something like, I don't know, river based, or I don't know, riptide or something. Maybe I'll do that if what's it called? If this does well, I'll just put a spin on how many different ways I can spin up thinking about some kind of current. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that demo. And I didn't really make any music with it or anything, as I'm kind of crunched on time for what my resources are available for. But you know, the other thing too is I've been making sounds for genres that I don't necessarily produce for, but if you like the sounds, then there you go. Does anybody have any questions about anything, or anything of the sort? Any like wish lists or things that you would like to see from me in the future? Any kind of I don't know, what else do I have? Bitwig, Faceplant, Current. I do not have Pigments. I guess I could do a Vital / Serum pack. Actually, I do have a Vital pack. It's out for free. So we need more glitches. Yo, congrats on the 20K. Thank you so much. I think that, like, honestly, the thing about this, and the reason why there's not a ton of glitch like sounds within this in particular, is because all you have to do is just pull a cluster delay on here, and where is this on? There we go. So you set the feedback to 0 and turn this here, and then just like send this through copious amounts of distortion, and set this to this, set this to free, turn the feedback down, and then really just playing with a lot of the delays in here along with the distortions and stuff will give you plenty of like crazy ass sounds. So see. So, I mean, do this with anything. And, no. Yeah, you'll have tons of glitchy things. And then if you also add in filtering with like really sharp random LFOs and stuff, then it's really easy to get into some crazy ass glitchy stuff, and you don't have to go very far. You could easily turn any of the presets that I have into something like that. So I think that's part of the reason why I haven't done a lot of like quote unquote generator slash glitch stuff in general, is because it's literally just you're a delay away from glitching. That's my mantra. There are specific kinds of glitches and stuff that like once you get into that you can make, but as a means of just getting crazy sounds that are unpredictable, stacking delays and being really careful with like not overdoing the feedback and adjusting the time to where they start building off of each other is a really easy and efficient and inspiring way to get to those kinds of unpredictable sounds and whatnot. So yeah. So maximum voltage is available on my website for $15. So if you have current, or you've been thinking about current and you want an expansion that's outside of what minimal audio themselves have to offer, then I think that this is the first preset bank that is available, I want to say. And I wanted to make it cheap because obviously you all know that I sell the Faceplant preset packs, for like $45 and stuff, but those things will last you a lifetime. So we need Bitcoin payments. I don't even do Bitcoin, dude. I'm not a Bitcoin person, to be honest. I need cash that I can actually pay my landlord, because unfortunately she doesn't take Bitcoin. So yeah, I guess that's it for the presentation though, and I hope that you all enjoyed this. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will be live tomorrow making sounds, beats, something, XYZ, because I'm online all the time. She's stupid. Yo, you're talking about my girlfriend. My girlfriend is my landlord. She owns this condo. So I'll tell her you said that. But in any case, much love, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and please hit me up if you have any questions, or contact me on the Discord, and let me know what you think of Kern. If you pick it up, please feel free to leave a video or a comment on here. So yeah, thanks so much, Steve. Definitely make sure that, I would say don't buy anything, definitely demo, and make sure that this is a good fit for you, because I want people to be happy with this kind of stuff. I'm not just trying to sell things. I want it to be stuff that I want it to be stuff that is really useful to people. So anyways, much love, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see some of you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.